Welcome to Legendary Tales, where we bring to life the greatest adventures from the East. Today, we embark on the fourth voyage of Sinbad the Sailor, a tale of survival, cannibal kings, clever escapes, and the triumph of wisdom over fear. So sit back, close your eyes, and let your imagination set sail, because what you're about to hear is no ordinary story. After returning from his third voyage, Sinbad was once again celebrated in Baghdad. His palace was filled with gold, silks, spices, and stories. But the life of comfort did not satisfy him for long. Every night, he looked up at the stars and felt the pull of the sea in his soul. And so, once again, Sinbad gathered his courage and his wealth, and joined a merchant ship, setting sail from the port of Bustra, in search of a new adventure. The voyage began peacefully. For 7 days, the sea was calm, the winds were friendly, and the ship danced over the waves like a bird in flight. Sinbad sat on the deck, sharing tales and laughing with fellow merchants. But on the 8th day, the sky darkened. A strange silence fell across the sea. Then suddenly a storm, fierce winds howled, waves roared like angry beasts, and the ship was tossed like a toy. Men screamed, crates flew overboard, sails were torn to shreds. Then a tremendous wave struck the side of the ship, splitting the wooden hull apart. In the chaos, Sinbad was thrown into the dark, wild ocean. Clinging to a broken plank, he drifted alone for hours. The storm finally passed, but the sea remained restless. Then a dark island appeared on the horizon, and the waves delivered him onto its mysterious shore. Sinbad collapsed, exhausted. When he awoke, he was surrounded by tiny, silent creatures, dwarf-like beings, with large eyes and no words. They didn't hurt him. Instead, they gently pulled him up and led him through a jungle path. Through twisted trees and foggy groves, they brought him to a strange fortress made of black stone, where their master awaited. Sitting on a throne carved from bones and stone was a giant kingo creature, unlike anything Sinbad had ever seen. The king's eyes gleamed with hunger. His skin was grey as ash, and his smile was not kind. Sinbad was fed well that night, but he noticed something disturbing. Another man, plump and strong, was being force-fed by the dwarves. Strange, thought Sinbad. The next day, the mystery was solved. At sunset, the giant king walked to the plump man, picked him up like a piece of fruit, and devoured him alive. Sinbad's heart froze. "This is no island," he whispered to himself. "It is a prison, and that king is a man-eater." For 3 days, Sinbad pretended to eat, hid food under his cloak, and stayed quiet. At night, he lay awake, eyes wide open, planning his escape. On the 4th night, as the moon cast its pale light over the island, Sinbad crept out of his hut. He ran into the forest quiet as a shadow, and there, to his surprise, he met 4 other survivors, hiding in a hollow tree. They, too, had escaped the palace of the Man-eating king. Together, they devised a plan. Using fallen trees, vines, and sharp shells, they crafted a makeshift raft over 3 nights. It was rough, unstable, and barely floated, but it was their only hope. Under cover of darkness, they pushed it into the river that led to the sea. As they floated away from the cursed island, they could hear the distant roar of the king behind them, but they did not look back. For 4 days, they drifted, hungry and thirsty, under the blazing sun. One man fell ill, another nearly went mad, but on the 5th day, they saw land again, lush and green, with palm trees swaying and birds singing. They had reached a new island. This time, the people were kind. They brought the survivors to their king, a wise and generous ruler who ruled with mercy. When Sinbad told him of the man-eating giant and their daring escape, the king was amazed. "You are brave and clever," he said. "I shall make you my advisor." Sinbad lived there for many months, honored and respected. But still, he missed Baghdad. The warm streets, the sounds of home, the smell of coffee and spice. The king, seeing his longing, gifted him a ship loaded with treasure, food, and guards. And so, once again, Sinbad sailed home richer in both gold and wisdom. When he arrived in Baghdad, the people gathered to hear his tale. Children sat wide-eyed. Merchants dropped their scales. Even the Caliph himself wanted to know. How did Sinbad survive the island of the cannibal king? Sinbad smiled and said, "With courage in the heart and wisdom in the mind." And so ends the fourth voyage of Sinbad, the Sailor journey through storms, monsters, and survival against all odds. But don't think this is the end. Sinbad's thirst for adventure is far from over. If you enjoyed the story, subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and ring the bell so you don't miss the fifth voyage, where even greater dangers and... What was your favorite part of this tale? Tell us in the comments below. Until next time, stay brave, stay curious, and keep your eyes on the horizon.